Hello, and welcome to the Metaphysical Life Podcast, where we talk about all things relating to body, mind, and spirit. My name is Nicole. Welcome to another episode. And today I have Maria Freehill on the line with me. Hi, Maria.
Hi, Nicole.
And I actually follow Maria on Instagram, and I watch some of her stories, and I thought she would be a great person to get on and share her spiritual journey with us. So, Maria, maybe that's what you can start with, your personal journey. How did you become where you are today?
um, where do I start really? It's been quite a quick and transformative process. I think when I became first consciously aware that I was going through a spiritual awakening was in around coming towards the end of 2017. Um, for a good part of my life, I felt very anxious. It was coming across as social anxiety. So that was kind of what was happening for me throughout my life. Um, I guess I always kind of tried to hide that fact. And so I was suppressing my emotions for like 30 years. So it was bound to come to a head at some stage. So I think like with significant life events and um, stressors, I guess the icing on the cake was probably work related or something like that, some little trigger to cause a kind of a need to realize there needs to be a change here. I need to make a change to be happier within myself and not to be pretending so much, because it was like I was wearing masks. I was pretending I was okay in like different environments around different people, trying to blend in, um, trying to kind of put everybody else first, and not realizing that that was really causing my health to um, not be okay. In short, so what happened was I was living in London. I was working over there, and I'd moved over there about 7 years prior to that. And I was a mental health nurse. So I was working there, and stressors were happening, the usual life happens. And I hit a wall, and I decided to just come home back to Ireland for a couple of months. And I decided to have Reiki. So that was what really started, that was the start consciously of my energetic, like spiritual awakening. That was quite intense. It was quite fast how it happened. I think my spirit was ready. My soul was just so ready to be free. It was just, yeah, it was so ready. So I had, over the space of 2 weeks, I had intense Reiki like every couple of days. And the first one was like I was floating on air. It was amazing. I was like, wow, is this what it feels like to be actually happy? And then as more sessions went on, the emotions, the suppressed stuff really started to come to the surface. So it was like the dark night of the soul, as it's called. It all really started to hit the fan then. um, my family were amazing. They were really supportive, although they had no idea what was going on with me, like I didn't. So, and it was happening so fast as well. Like 1 minute, I just wanted it all to be over and not be here anymore. And then to the next week, I was like, God, I'm really, really good now. It's like, it's literally like a roller coaster. It's so hard to put a description on it, but I'm sure others who've been through the process will understand what I mean. Um, so that was with the Reiki, and it kind of literally, that was where I decided it was better for me to move home. Just completely changed my life. So that meant leave nursing as well. So there was like, if you're looking on that from the outside looking in, I think it looked quite drastic and dramatic and surprising. But I did it anyway. It was like my intuition was really, really guiding me. There was a drive within me. I just knew that I wanted to move home, and I had actually trained in the Reiki level 1 and the level 2 and just finished the level 3. So I think they as well, when I started the level 1, that was back in, go back to December 16. So I guess slowly but surely that was awakening me from the inside. And then I became more consciously aware of it a year later when it really hit the fan. And I decided to move home, and I just fell in love with Reiki because how much it helped me and woke me up to a certain degree. I didn't realize till a while after that that was just the beginning. um, so I was so passionate about Reiki, so I moved home to the middle of nowhere, you could say, in Ireland, back to my home place, to my parents' house, just to kind of get settled there and get grounded again within myself. And I set up a little business, small room from my parents, from an old bedroom. It was my brother's old bedroom. So I set it up there, painted the room and everything, and just to see how it would go, to try it, to kind of start from nothing, start from scratch. And it was good. It was great. Like it, I was very surprised with how it went, although my intuition was telling me it would go somewhere. So that was brilliant. And I did that for, stayed in that room for 9 months, you could say. Now, while I was doing that, I started like other little courses would kind of pop up. And I think, oh, I must go and check that out. So there was like all sorts happening, like crystal healing workshops. I absolutely love crystals, so I was attuned to that kind of energy as well. Um, what other things did I do? I did laughter yoga as well. That was great crack. It was so funny. And like during this part of the journey, it was me really trying to come out of my comfort zone, because there was still anxieties there that were coming to the surface all the time that we're trying to heal. So um, I would always kind of push myself. Sometimes maybe I thought afterwards, oh, maybe I was too hard on myself, like pushing myself too much. But I'm always glad I did it. I have no regrets. Like I set up a little class in the small little village I live in, and ran like laughter yoga group, and that was really funny, and I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, like I was a nervous wreck because it was really bringing. I suppose I was being seen and being heard, which was my fear. So I was learning so much about myself more, like the real me in that year. And through the workshops I've done, I was learning that I was actually highly sensitive to energy. So that was a huge eye opener for me. I didn't even know what really that was about. So with all the learning that we were made up of energy, I just slowly started to really learn, and the more I became aware of it and conscious of it and tuned in to energies around me, I noticed, oh, actually, yeah, I'm feeling this. You know, if you walk into a room and there's a group of people or something, and, you know, it just, you can feel it. So I was learning during these workshops that I did, how to protect my energy, how to ground my energy, how to let go of energy. So it was amazing, those workshops. professionally and personally. Um, so that was for the first year. Was there any other workshops? But then the big thing was, so the biggest thing then was finding shamanism. So that's what really, really got deep within my soul and woke me up even more. So there was like, that was back in November. So we're in 2020 now. So that was November 2018. So that started, it was a year-long course and a shamanic counseling course as well on top. And that was like so transformative and freeing. Like it was amazing. It just literally, there was so many dark nights of the soul, you could say, in that year. It stripped me completely of who I was, which was amazing. At the time, it was like, what's happening again? What's going on? Um, like you think you're losing your mind. Basically, I thought I was anyway, but I had such a lovely network, my family around me. I was so lucky, and they were learning too, I guess. Like through the teachings I was getting, it was helping them in ways of the energy world because they wouldn't have been aware of energy in so much detail. So they were really enjoying the teachings as well, and that was great. But it was just so freeing for me to be able to learn um, about myself and accept and understand myself in a more deep and personal level. Um, yeah, like I loved it so much. And we spoke about fears in that course, and mine again was being seen and being heard. And it was such an amazing course. We had such an amazing teacher. Um, and he just, like the way he runs the place that we go to in Dundee, it's in County Meath in Ireland. It's just incredible. It just transforms. That's how I felt. It absolutely transformed me. So again, my love and passion was there for shamanism. So when I finished that course, I said, Reiki is my love. I absolutely love it. It's what started my journey. But also now I have a deeper love for shamanism because it goes so deep into the subconscious mind, and it's quite quick and fast. So that's where I'm at now. So going back to, I moved from my parents' house and moved into a commercial setting for about 10 months. And then I moved into a bigger town. So I'm working in Sligo now doing that. And I offer it in Skype as well.
Nice.
So that's
Nice.
me.
So there's lots I can go from there.
Great.
No, you sound like you had a very beautiful journey. And so
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. And so, so you started off, so I see that your fear was, accepting light, being seen, being heard. And I mean, that's actually, to be honest, that's one of my things that I'm working on, is being able to accept and allow light and good stuff, and being not that I want to be seen, but being okay with being seen, right?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
so first Reiki. So I also do Reiki on a regular basis, although I haven't done sort of a boot camp Reiki like you did in the beginning, which was like a lot of sessions in a few weeks. Can you just share for the listeners, maybe an example of something that happened during a Reiki session? You said you were floating on air. You were, obviously it's your first love. What can somebody maybe expect from a session like that?
Okay, so the first thing I will say is that every single session you have is so different. There's not one the same. And I know that that's not just my experience, going on other people's experience. They you get up off the table and say, God, that was so different to the last time, you know. And so what you do, you lie down, you're fully clothed on the bed, and you can experience, so your eyes are closed for the hour, and you can experience things like seeing colors. For me, I would see more so, I would kind of journey like I do in shamanism. So I was learning that I can kind of naturally do that. That was another um, awareness for me, I suppose, that I can travel to other worlds and dimensions and see images and guides or people and connect it. I would find that I connected very much to my higher self. So I would see her in, like, she's quite funny. I would see her in like different scenarios. Her way of showing me like everything is okay and everything is flowing and I'm protected, that kind of thing. The imagery is phenomenal for me personally, but it can come across like imagery, colors. You can see memories of maybe childhood or just everyday realities that you're going through, or you can feel also, you can get senses or feelings through your body, like some people feel the energy moving through them of where it needs to be released, or some people can feel like tingling running through their body. It's quite normal, just the energy moving through. um but most people feel the relaxation and the heat coming from the practitioner's hands. That's the main thing people would speak about. So the
Yeah,
calming
yeah.
and the healing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Every session is different, and it baffles me because there'll be days where I'll have a session and I'll get up and I'll be wiped. Like I just had like an hour massage, even though she never really touched me, or barely. And then another day I'll have it and I'll get up and I'll feel like I can take on the world. Like I have so much energy. I'm so awake. So it's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a good description of it. Like sometimes I would find in the beginning when I had mine, after that very first session, that I was completely wiped out, like no energy. Um, I had pains even going through my body. Um, just like it was the energy kind of transforming within me and the negative energy moving off. So it was
Right.
quite a good thing, even though I felt, oh my God, like why am I in bits? But it was it was a good thing. Or you could like have a headache, or just like you want to chill, you want to just relax. So like I find your body's just bringing you to this state it needs to be to actually heal yourself. So your body's doing the work, your spirit's doing the work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the colors are beautiful too. I would see colors. I see like shapes, like
Oh,
diamonds and just
geometry, like,
geometry. Yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah,
And then I'd see visions. Like I didn't know if it was a memory. I actually approached my mom and dad and said, this memory came up, and it was of my dad. I think it was of my dad who was really young at the time. So I must have been a baby, I'm thinking.
wow,
And it was he was in the kitchen or something, and he turned around and I saw his face, and then it's gone. Like it's like images that come and then leave. They come and they
yeah,
leave.
they can be so instant, like
And I'm
instantaneous,
like,
like,
stay, let me see
yeah.
more.
I know.
uh, so
Like,
so that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
is amazing.
Um, so okay, so that's the Reiki, because I really think that's a powerful thing in my life too. Yeah, you're relaxed, and the heat, the energy from the practitioner is quite amazing as well.
Incredible.
And it's working because the after effect after, and so you're like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
So
And
and
like,
yeah.
yeah, even like for skeptics that do come, which is brilliant to try it out, they and come and they do have an open mind, and when they get up off the bed, You're like, oh my God. And you see the face and you're like, oh, yay. Like it is something you do have to experience. And the same with the shamanism. Like it's very hard to um, describe it to somebody who hasn't had it, to.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's that leads me to the shamanism. So let's dive into that because that's your deep love.
Yeah.
um, so tell me, so I don't know really much about shamanism. I do know a little bit, because I do follow people that take plant medicine, and it's
Okay.
being served by shamans. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what is that all about? Yeah.
Okay. So shamanism, it's another ancient energy healing method. And that was found way, way over 10,000 years ago, first in Siberia that we know of. And it's used in all the indigenous tribes and the cultures all around the world. Um, I've seen actually recently that some of the indigenous tribes now are working in some of the hospitals actually in Australia, which is incredible. That's lovely to see. But so yeah, it's an ancient energy healing method, and the idea of it is that we use our soul energy and our imagination along with the beat of a drum. So the beat of the drum actually brings our brainwave state down from the beta state down to our theta state. So the theta state is where we are when we're in that deep meditative state. And when we're there, we're able to access learning, healing, and memory. So that's why it's quite powerful. So what we do is we create an intention with the client, and with the shamanic counseling, they listen to the beat of a drum and they're speaking out their journey. So in shamanism, there's three worlds. The first world is, so we call it the middle world. It's our everyday, what we know as our everyday reality on earth. And then we have the upper world. So the upper world is where we go. It's very angelic, pristine, with like gardens or spirit guides, and how we would get there with the use of our imagination and soul journey is to imagine, very much connected with nature, shamanism. So the belief is that we're part of the earth. So we would imagine we're in nature and that we see a tree or a rainbow. You can use your imagination, but we usually use a tree, and we imagine that we're climbing up a tree and we keep going up and up and up. And what happens then is you start to actually feel like when your eyes are closed that you're moving up, you're ascending. So that's quite powerful. And you're met there by your spirit guides or your angels or whoever you prefer. So that's the upper world. And then the lower world is the third world. So how we get there is we go down the tree. So down the roots of the tree, you can feel like you're going down, down, down there as well. And you can be met there by a spirit animal or a power animal or a teacher, a guide, a teacher. It's very much in shamanism connected to the animals, the spirit animals. So that's lovely. And we go there with our intention again, and we're shown what we need to see or what we need to learn from the intention that we've set, and we can bring back the information or the healing or the teaching from there and bring it into our everyday world, our conscious mind. And then the integration process, so it's the time after the sessions. It's quite interesting. So people often notice changes, and it kind of has like a domino effect around them. So the energy that they've brought through, um, even like say if it's something from their childhood, it can have like it can bring the energy right through like a timeline hop. So that's quite profound and powerful. So
That's
yeah,
cool. That's very cool.
do you like it?
I like the way you explained that.
Oh,
Like
thank
it's
you.
very clear. So obviously when you're going down, that must be like the shadow work, right? Like,
For the under or for the lower world, yeah, it
yeah,
can be, yeah. There's no right or wrong, do you know, that kind of way. Like, it's kind of, that's the lovely thing about shamanism. There's no box, or there's no labels. It's very
right.
much what happens, and whatever happens is perfectly happening. It's exactly what's supposed to happen at that time. So
Yeah.
even like, say, if you did go to the lower world, um, and you all of a sudden felt you were going up to the upper world, that can happen. So you could get information from both places.
Right.
But
Right.
yes, shadow work is very much so um, what shamanism is working with.
Yeah, no, that's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. Um, so there was something else that that you talked about, and I think it might be a combination of Reiki and shamanism as well. But you talked about your fear of, you know, being seen, being heard, and that you had to learn how to um, protect, ground, and let go of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give an example of what you do personally, like a tip for each of those things, each of those, you know, protect, ground, and let go?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do many things really, to be honest, with all the different workshops I've done. I've kind of got little snippets from each one, and it might depend on the day or my mood as well, which one I use. But mainly, um, getting out in nature is so, so important. So that grounds me automatically. Um, just being in the moment, nature really brings me into the moment. um, what I do then is I use my imagination, my soul energy, and I transmute any energy that I feel, any excess energy. Um, I guess my journey has allowed me to attune to what might belong to me and what might not belong to me. So I would say, in my mind, I transmute this energy that does not belong to me, and I let it go now with love and compassion to be transmuted into the universe to brand new energy, fresh new energy. And the use of our imagination is quite powerful. You can just feel better automatically. I wear crystals as well, protective crystals like clear quartz is a powerful one, or shungite lately. They kind of change. Again, I use my intuition to pick up what one is needed at the time, but I always have some on me.
You just put them in your pocket? You just put them in
I
your
do,
pocket?
they're in my
Yeah.
pocket, or I have the chakra bracelet here.
Oh, yes.
So that keeps me balanced. But intention setting as well. So first thing in the morning, I would set my intention for my energy to be protected, and bring in my guides like Archangel Michael. He's fantastic for protection. So that's another one. Or when I get up in the morning, I ground my energy. So I bring in the light. So I imagine that light is coming through the top of my head, down through my crown chakra, all the way down through my energy field, and down through the roots of down through my feet and into the roots of the earth, as if I'm a tree, and I close off the energy. Just imagine it's been closed off over the top of my head. So that's quite powerful as well. And clearing the house as well, like keeping it clean, cleansed, and I use sage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's so powerful. I always feel the difference, like straight away when I use it in the house and open all the windows and let that out.
I do that too. I do that
Yeah,
once a week for sure.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, no, that's very, very good tips. For me, what I do is I typically, we have a dog, so I let the dog out in the morning. And now it's winter here, so sometimes it's very
Okay.
cold. We're in Canada. And
Okay.
so I'll stand outside. It's much better in the summer, but so stand outside and I'll use my imagination and imagine, roots going from my feet all the way down into the earth, and then like a bubble kind of creating a little layer of protection. And the light, I like the light too. I'm gonna do that. I like that idea.
It's lovely. The light, yes, that's another powerful one that it's emanating through.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that
Yes, I
one.
sometimes forget about the light. And then sage I sage, once a week. And even
Yeah,
my husband can tell a difference, and he's not into this so much, but
yeah,
he'll notice that the energy is like really
lighter.
improved. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
good.
that's awesome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And so tell us what you're trying to do. So what I noticed about about your profile is you are not shy about putting a video up on Instagram. Like there's a lot of your videos with your face showing, and you're trying to teach and share. And what are you trying to do with your online stuff?
So with my online stuff, it's my passion. I was just talking about this earlier to a friend. My passion is to, I suppose, educate people about shamanism, energy in general, that we are also made up of energy being, that we're not just this human body, that there's more to us than meets the eye. And what can happen when emotions are suppressed and they get stuck. So just to educate them about that, and also to bring myself out of my comfort zone big time, for growth in myself, definitely. And to, so shamanism as well is, we spoke about the shadow work, so the ego mind. So I was joking earlier, like literally getting over myself and making a video that it's not just about me or what I look like, and just so I can get my message across and help others and shine that light as light workers do, and know that I can accept myself as I am, to show myself to the world. Even like, I'm not technical, I'm not fantastic at that. And there was a few videos I made, and like they're right up, like, oh Lord, but I just left them there because like it doesn't matter. That's what I'm learning. Like it just doesn't matter, and like it just happens. I'm not the only one that has done that, and nothing bad is going to happen. The
No,
ground isn't
exactly.
going to swallow me up. So yeah, it's just kind of getting past those uncomfortable spots, because like, as I learned when I go through, it's only myself that puts me um in the position from not being able to grow. Do you know, that kind of like self-sabotage? So if I get out of my own way, basically, then I'll be able to do my work and share my story. Because when I find that when people share their story, it does connect with others who are experiencing the same kind of feelings or emotions, and they don't know
Definitely.
what to do. So I just, even if I can help one person, that's my goal, my passion, my wish.
Yeah, no, definitely 100%. And so we just have to get over the get over that fear.
Yeah,
I think we're all like that. I talk to a lot of people about the online world, and trying to share and trying to, serve and do all of that stuff. And a lot of people talk about, taking that step to put themselves in the public eye and just getting past. Who cares? Who cares
yeah,
about what I mean, it's the message, it's the content, it's what we're trying to do, right? So it doesn't matter if
absolutely.
even when I started this podcast too, like I was really hesitant on doing video, like putting this on YouTube, and even just sharing my journey and through podcast as well. Like just there was this hesitancy, and I'm like, you need to get past. You need to get past that and just share, because everybody is going through similar situations.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, even though we're all connected on social media, and you would think that we're more connected, a lot of people feel alone.
Yeah.
And I know when I experienced I guess it would be a transformation, that there was that pivotal moment in 2015 where I felt God, I felt energy, I felt love. And then afterwards, I did feel alone, right? So you do, when you're going through a spiritual journey, I think there's that aloneness, that isolation that we feel. And, and so online is where people tend to go now to
Yeah,
search and to find
absolutely.
answers. So, so big deal where my hair is not done, really, I don't care.
You're a natural.
I don't care. It's the message, and
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
creating a community. And I think that's big. And I think that's important. So thank you so much for sharing your journey. And so you offer shamanistic, or I don't know how you call it, the counseling, shamanic,
I call it shamanic counseling. Yeah,
shamanic
yeah,
counseling
yeah.
on Skype.
It's on Skype, that's
And
right.
so you're on Instagram.
I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I also have a blog as well. So many like talents and stuff that I didn't know that I had started to come from the surface from when I let go of old, stagnant, blocked energy. When I let go of that, it gets right into your psyche, what's there. So I started to write, and I like before that I didn't write.
One of your talents is writing, and you didn't know it.
Yeah, like in uni, I remember being given back assignments, and they used to laugh, like say, "Oh, you write your assignments like you talk. You need to change that." So yeah, I started to write, and like it's going well. I enjoy it, like I love it, and it's getting my message across too. It's another way of sharing. So that was the start, I think, of sharing really my journey.
Perfect. Well, I will put all of your information in the podcast and in the YouTube area. And then, so if people want to reach out to you, they can.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nicole. You're very good.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. And
Enjoy your journey as well.
yes, yes. And I'm sure I'll see you online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a great day. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care.